What's the deal, my people? You know what it is. Don Tony Teflon back at you. Another one. You know what this one is. This is What If Series. Usual Suspects podcast. It's always fun with Phil, the issues guy. What's going on?
Not much. Good to be here and good to be talking to What If again. This one's a good one, and this is an exciting one that came up the last minute, but I'm excited to do it. It's very fun, and we're going to find out, maybe will she cut off his little, I don't know. Will she get that opportunity?
It could be, this is an interesting one, fun one. So I'm glad to do it. Actually was brought up to me by someone at my job. Shout out to that cat. I forgot his name. I'm not good at names, man. But he's the one who brought it up. I said, you know what? This is a pretty good one. We could probably have some fun with this one. And next week we will do the time one. I promise you that we'll do the time one next week and everything else. Might be joined by somebody later on. I think they're running a little late because I think they think the show starts later because last week when we did the Direwolf City collabo, we started later. So I'm thinking it's the same time. And all right, but if that's not the case, all right, let's get this thing popping. Let's do it right now. What up to my thugs, nerds, freaks, and geeks? You're now rocking with the best of Don Tony Teflon. If you can, please subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Again, this is the What If Ygritte lived. Is it Ygritte or Ygritte? How do you say it?
One thing's for sure. What if Phil pronounces her name? What if I pronounce her name correctly once this entire show? I'm just gonna do it differently every time. And you know who we're talking about. For all those people that are gonna get on us for the way we're gonna say her name tonight, you know who we're talking about. We're talking about Jon and Ygritte. And what happened if she was still alive? And this is going to be a fun one, as Tony was talking about in the intro, because we got to figure out how she survives here, which is going to be probably the most interesting thing, and see how it affects Jon's story and her story moving forward. But one thing's for sure, we will be mispronouncing her name tonight, so get ready for that.
Get ready for that. And our guest is rocking with us from the Direwolf City podcast. She is here in the flesh with all her sexiness. Alicia is in the building.
Hey.
Welcome to the party.
I was sitting. I thought I had time. I'm so sorry. I'm late. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do this weird thing with my hand where I'm gonna try to adjust my camera because apparently I did buy a good camera, but I can't seem to okay. It's just gonna have to be out of focus. Anyway, hi guys.
Hi, and you left your hand up there perfectly when you said hi for a second, so it looked perfect up there. How are you? Hopefully everything's going good for you and everything. You had a good week. What up to the people who are rocking with us in the chat right now? What up to Lady Star Falls in the building, rock with us? What up to the Real YT in the building with us? What up to Top Tier Hype in the building, baby, back at us right now. Peter Griffin, as always, up here rocking with us. Vince Harper in the building with us right now. AK-47 is up in this place right now. As always, man, hit that thumbs up button. You know what I'm saying? Get more people in here. If you are in some type of Discords, like Gray Areas Discord, Joe the Magician's Discord, go in there and post a link and let the people know we are here live rocking right now so we can get more people. Scott O'Castley Rock is up in the building. Make sure you share this video so we can get out there and get as many people in here as possible. It's up to you, people. It's all up to you. I can only share it so much. All right. So, Alicia, we have sprung this on you. This is something that you did not know we were talking about, but we'll get your thoughts on, do you think this is an interesting what if, and if so, why? What if Ygritte, well, whatever, Ygritte, right? That's what we're calling it tonight. Ygritte, whatever. Ygritte? You know what I'm talking about. What if she lies? Okay. How do you feel about that for a what if?
What if she lies?
What if she lived?
I need to stop. What if she lived? That is literally, I didn't give a thought until I need to stop because I know that someone left a comment on our last Direwolf City stream, and they were like, that bottom left corner girl, she is just a know-it-all and she needs to be more conscious of this. But I think that it would definitely change up a lot of dynamics with Val, who's a bit of a fan favorite, and I definitely think it would change up a lot of dynamics with how Jon chooses to proceed forward as the Lord Commander if he does become Lord Commander, because if she's still, I mean, he did sleep with this girl, so if she's still running around not caring about how the Night's Watcher Westeros does things, then I don't know if he would have even gotten the position of Lord Commander to begin with. I don't know. It's loaded. It's loaded.
Perfect. That's really right. So if people don't know who she is for some reason. Let's go through it real quick. When Jon was out with Corin, half-handing the boys, he went ranging beyond the wall. They ran into some wildlings, they captured some wildlings. She was one of the wildlings they captured. She broke free, ran away. She did a little chase. She grabbed him. It was cold out there. They had to huddle together. He put a sword in her back, a small sword, I might say, but it was a sword nevertheless. Eventually, they became lovers. After they became lovers, she used to tell him, Jon Snow, they found a little hot spring out of nowhere. They bathed together. Jon hit her with the lordly kiss. She had never had that before. She was like, it's bushy down there, and you still did it. Damn it, you're a good guy. She seen a windmill, got fascinated by it. Then all of a sudden, she was like, hey, Jon bounces. I'm going to kill him. She goes on the raid with the wildlings. Before she gets the opportunity to kill him, she gets killed herself, dies in Jon's arms, and that's what it is. But what if she never died? What if she lived? So as always, the first question is, how could she have survived? If we're going to do this, that's key. What do you think? How is the perfect way that we could have say that she survived? I mean, I think obviously you could say she never goes on a thing. She's late. But what's a realistic plot point of how she could have survived?
I think the first problem that we arise right here is, does it set up a situation where Jon's going to die anyway? Because everyone at the wall's going to die because the wildlings actually win. So, I mean, that's the first scenario that obviously isn't fun, because then we just stop it here. Jon dies and everyone in the Night's Watch dies. The wildlings take over the wall and take control of the situation. Done deal. Ygritte ends up riding a dragon or something. We can't quite go that far with the situation. So we'd have to, I would guess, either say she's captured or somehow she survives the battle, the first battle, and when Jon goes to treat later, she's there. She holds back from the first surge of some sort. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? How can she survive this? At what point are we going to say she survives?
Honestly, you hit up every point I would have made. She either just doesn't get hit by an arrow, she just doesn't die in the battle and gets captured, or she just didn't go in with the first wave. Or she could still be, like fucking around somewhere south of the wall. But I feel like there's lots of possibilities.
I think the best way, me personally, to say is that she gets hit with the arrow, but just doesn't kill her.
Right.
So we could still go from there. She's gotten hit, but just didn't work. It just didn't die. You know what I mean? She gets put in the infirmary or whatever. Everything else proceeds the same exact way. If she got hit with that, we'll say what up to Gray Area, who was rocking with us last week,
Gray,
and everything else. We didn't get an adjective in front of our names, Phil, but it's all right though. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm her girl.
It's all good. So good.
And AK says, I think she survives and goes south of the wall, but she stays close to the wall. Ginger, agreeing with you, Tony, and grabbing it. Ginger Bell says she could be wounded and captured. So I guess we'll go with that then. So the result of the Battle of the Wall is the same. She survived when Jon goes out and grabs her in her arms, and we're going by book lore here instead of there's no Olly in this situation. Gets her in his arms and moves, and she survives that. He brings her back to the wall, and they treat her, and she somehow becomes okay and survives. How does Jon handle this? So our first question is, how does Jon handle this moving forward? Is he already Lord Commander at this point?
Not at that point. He wouldn't have been Lord Commander.
He becomes pretty soon after the battle, right?
Yeah, a little bit after that, as the Lord Commander situation goes down and stuff. So would he still have been given the Lord Commander stats? Would he still have gotten the votes if they knew that while he was out there, he was betting this wildling chicken? Because, basically he's pulling, he's pulling a Sam. He's doing exactly what Sam did, but he's got her back there and stuff like that. But would they have still, you know what I mean? They got her captured. I mean, he ain't letting nobody touch her. Ain't like she gonna be there getting raped or something like that. So what do you think would happen there with the vote?
So the issue is, he did admit to betting her, did he not?
Yes, I was just going to say that.
I think one of the reasons they were so willing to look past it is because she was also dead and gone.
Out of sight, out of mind.
She was still alive and well, and definitely no shame in her game with it. They'd have a completely different view on it. So with that said, as far as how the vote goes, I don't think that even the people who have Jon's back, I just don't know if he would even come up as a possibility.
Yeah.
I think they'd kind of laugh it off.
I agree with that as well. I think, yes, he admitted it in the situation, but almost in a way that, yes, it happened. She's dead now. It doesn't matter. On we go. With her being there, being the person she is too, and not keeping her mouth shut about it, no one's going to be able to support Jon. I think, like Alicia was saying, even his best friends that have his back the most, in everything that other people would say, everyone that's speaking against him gets a little bit more weight to everything about he's laying with the wildlings, he's this and that. And you have to wonder if they would, for the watch Jon before he's even elected, in a sense, and say, or cast him out. Would he, I mean, we're going to answer all these questions tonight, but I'm just throwing them all out here. Would, in this situation, he would gladly accept Stannis's "I will legitimize you"? Would Stannis even give him that offer because he hates oathbreakers, and Jon is now an admitted oathbreaker? So it opens up a lot of possibilities for Jon. Yes.
Well, I think Jon was already an admitted oathbreaker before all that. I think Stannis does know that he broke his Night's Watch vows. So as an answer to that, in my opinion, I think Stannis still would have offered it to him. If anything,
do you think he'll take it?
I don't know, but I definitely think one of Stannis's supposed hooks would be like, the Night's Watch doesn't want you. What do you think is going to happen to you if you stay here?
Well, and also, you got to say, you got Val and them. Eventually, they do show up and everything else there. You see how Stannis is trying to, pawn Val off, and the wildling princess, she's so beautiful, she's got to be a princess, yada, 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 all that garbage and stuff like that. Would Stannis just say, listen, Jon, I'm going to take this chick, and I'm going to take her, if you don't become Lord Commander, I'll marry this chick off to one of my knights. You seen him willing to do it to Val. He's like, yo, which one do you want Val to marry? If I forgot the terms he gave him, the Slayer or the whatever, but he's ready to marry Val off. So would he use that as order to get Jon to become Lord Commander? Where he say, listen, if you don't become Lord Commander, I mean, not Lord Commander, if you don't become
Lord of Winterfell,
heir of Winterfell, Lord of Winterfell, I'm taking this chick off your hands and I'm going to marry her to somebody else.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with what Angelo says in the chat. AK saying no, he wouldn't do too much Ned in him. But I'm almost with what Angelo's saying in the chat, where he would almost have to accept Stannis' office. He couldn't stay at the wall in this situation. I don't think he could become, at least this is my perspective, and this is our first battle here in this what if, does Jon stay as Lord Commander, become Lord Commander of the Night's Watch? Does he stay at the wall? Or does he have to leave at this point because he can't stay there? I just don't think.
Can't do both, right? He can't be. I know. He's so respectful.
I'm sorry.
There's only three of us, so you can just jump in.
Yeah, just jump in.
Okay, so honestly, I think one of the questions we should ask along with this is, if Ygritte had lived, would Jon be with her? I think that's a really important question to throw in the mix there.
And an additional one. You
got two things. Would Jon stick to his vows? Because if he does stick to his vows, he can't be with her. That's done. So it's either going to be that. What up to LMR from the Lady and Don podcast? I see you, girl. So happy to see you in the chat. Hope to see you on the stream. Do a stream with you eventually soon when things slow down in your life. And also, is she gonna want to be with him? I mean, she was mad at Jon. She don't like these crows. She was ready to kill this dude. She went there to kill him.
She could have killed him though, and she didn't.
Listen, as the lady here, I can tell you right now, she probably would. It's as Tormund said in the show. I know she loved you because all she talked about was wanting to kill you.
Yeah, and I
think. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I also want to add that if he continues to have sex with her, and I know in the book it makes it seem like he's laid with her multiple times, and it's not just the one time in the show. In the sense in the cave. Will she eventually? I don't think they're using condoms in Westeros. If she will, what would happen in a situation where she had possibly have a baby, and how would that affect?
Out? Sorry, I just
no, that's okay. But I know how Jon. There's several points where Jon talks about not wanting that to happen and being afraid of that, not wanting to birth a bastard. So I think so much of his connection with her would probably, I think he would hold to his vows with her. And I think he would marry her? Would she become his lady? I know we have a lot of what ifs. I don't know if she'd accept becoming his lady.
It's hard for me to really think, from everything that we learned about Jon, that he would be with her, that he would stay with her. I think that, in my opinion, he would just become Lord Commander. He would say, my vows to the Night's Watch. I've already sworn my sword to the Night's Watch. I have to be with the Night's Watch. Yes, I have hit it. Yes, I love her, but still, I'm a man on the Night's Watch. You got to bounce, shorty. I can't see him not doing it. Maybe that's the case. Alicia, what are you thinking when it comes down to it? Because I don't think he can do both. I don't think he can be Lord Commander and be with her. If he's going to be with her, he's got to leave. So you think he leaves, or you think he's with her?
I think he leaves.
Yeah, I'm with Alicia on this one. I think he leaves too.
Right. I think then we go. I mean, that's the scenario we go with. We got 3 people here.
Because it's kind of one of those things where it's like you have to keep in mind too all the factors that roll into him deciding to sleep with her. It's understandable. First of all, physically he wanted to, so there's that. Mm-hmm. He was definitely trying to not give away his cover. She did kind of, is it in the books as well as the show, when she's like, I saved your life. I want you to prove that you've turned cloak, like that you're no longer a crow. Like, I think he was in a circumstance where, like, yes, I think he wanted to, but at the same time, him deciding to pull that trigger with no inhibition about it. And he had guilt about it. And that's why I think he would leave her eventually, because he was just like guilt stricken the whole time. I kind of feel like he didn't really have a choice, even though he happened to want to, but I don't think the choice was really there.
And just to examine Tony's point before we move on, because I think it's important to think what would be the scenario if he decided to stay and become Lord Commander. Would he put her in the cells in that situation and lock her up? Would he let her go and let her back beyond the wall? Because I don't think he would allow anyone to execute her. I don't think he'd allow anyone to hurt her in that situation. But he probably would just keep her in chains. So that's where I'm at the point where it's hard for me to see him not leaving with her, because I don't see what the other option is. He could lock her up and then he'd Jaime her with Tyrion. He'd let her out and probably let her go free. And then she comes back with another group to try to go beyond the wall later. So yeah, I mean, I think it's...
we're talking about when Stannis has let them through already. She would just join up.
She would join up, and she would
just be with them. She'd go right back with them, and she'd be chilling with them. The problem is this, and we're going to go along this scenario that Jon leaves. So, and the scenario is Jon leaves and takes Stannis'
offer.
Ooh. Now, is that, would he be able to leave at that point? And just, I mean, he's not just going to be able to run up on Winterfell and say, hey, Stannis gave it to me. There's still a situation going on down there. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's going to be able to say, hey, Stannis said I'm king. Y'all got to let me in there. You know what I mean?
Come on. Bruce will be like, come on in. It's okay.
And then you have to get to the fact, well, would they really respect him? Would they accept him? Because it to me, if you got to deal with the battle of Winterfell and everything else, to me, that's Stannis' battle. But if Jon Snow is not dealing with the Night's Watch or anything anymore, and he's rolling down there with Stannis, it's going to be Jon, his wolves with Stannis, and Ygritte, she's rocking with him, she's going. So we would have to go into that situation, the battle situation, if we go that far. But then you also have to deal with who's going to take the wall over. If he's not Lord Commander, well, who takes the wall over? And then what does Sam do on top of that? Now, if he leaves, is Sam going to allow him to leave? Are they just going to say, all right, listen, you're allowed to break your vows. You're allowed to get up out of here. Are they going to try to execute Jon for breaking his vows? Are they going to say, you got to die now? I mean, I think if Stannis crowns him and says that, then they have to let him go, right? If Stannis says, listen, I'm the king and he's the Lord of Winterfell, that's it. I overrule the Night's Watch, even though the Night's Watch is supposed to be with, you
two that are a little bit more knowledgeable about this, is there precedent to that, to a king taking someone off the Night's Watch and giving them a lordship? Has that happened
Well,
before in
okay.
Westeros?
I know that I don't know if it's precedent, but it had been a plan at some point because Cersei said, as she said, she was going to send one of the Kettle Blacks to the wall while he was to do this thing, which will get him sent to the wall while he's there. Hey, can you take care of Ned Stark's bastard for me? Be a dear. And then she said her plan was to basically exonerate him, like pardon him. I think there might be. The problem is that Jon took the vows, like Stannis might come along and try to pardon him from those vows. I don't know. Like, obviously, Stannis has no qualms being like, well, I know you took the vows, and here's what I want. Here's what's convenient to me. I think Stannis could, because I think that, like, if the Night's Watch isn't allowed to have walls around their castles in the event that any of the southern kingdoms need to come deal with them in the same breath, I think that even though the Night's Watch takes no part in what's going on down south, that doesn't mean what's going on down south can't take part in what's going on in the Night's Watch. I think that Stannis chose to stay out of the election because that's who Stannis is. So...
And to back up Tony in the live chat, Cheffany, I just wanted to try to say that name. He will let her go, but he will not join her. I'm sorry. Love does not always win. It's,
that's the one thing,
to your point, Tony, what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, where we were saying that we have to, and challenging me on this probably more, that we have to think like George a little bit here. What would break our heart the most? And I guess break our heart the most in that situation would be him executing her. But I don't think that's going to happen.
He's not gonna do that. He wouldn't execute her. But I think that he'd have to leave with Stannis because I think the Night's Watchman would still kill him. I think they'd have a reason to take him out or something.
He's in a Kobayashi Maru. He needs to leave.
Yeah, he would have to go with Stannis. He could, you could get the scenario where he says, all right, I'm going to attack Winterfell. Jon, you stay behind and protect Shireen. You protect my wife. You could get that scenario. You could put that in your head and say he could do that, but you know what I mean?
Jackie C has an interesting question. If people don't accept Stannis as king, will they accept this pardon of Jon?
I think I don't think they... Go ahead. I think the Night's Watchmen have to in his face, but that's why I said he has to leave, because when he leaves, I think that they will say, "Fuck you, Stannis. We're gonna kill him for desertion." Go ahead, Alicia.
Right. I don't think they really get to choose who's a pretender and who's not. I think anyone that shows up to their doorstep with an army saying, "I'm the king," they're like, "Yeah,
okay."
At this present moment, Stannis is in their face with an army. Now, if Jon's stupid enough to stay around at the wall after Stannis leaves, But I mean, it doesn't matter if they think Stannis is a pretender or not. The bottom line is he is a claimant to the throne, and he is right there at the wall with an army. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
And the man, he acts like a king. Everyone there is treating him like a king. It's not just he's calling himself king. The whole army is treating him like that. His wife is carrying herself like a queen. You know what I mean? So when you have all those factors and stuff like that, I think that he would have to leave. He would have to go with Stannis down there. Ygritte would have no choice but to go with him too, because she couldn't stay behind. I could see them saying, you stay behind, but I could see her saying, "Go fuck yourself, Jon Snow. Yeah, I'm coming." And that would just be the way it goes down. So let's go. Let's say he. Were
we saying he's?
We're saying we already come to. This is a very interesting point we have to deal with right now.
AK says Sam comes with him. By the way,
Sam will come. So let's say that he leaves the wall. He goes with Stannis. So then we get to the Battle of Winterfell. That means, and this is what this means right now. He's with Stannis at camp. He witnesses the burning. Right? He witnesses that burning. They have Theon's sister captured. Then they get Theon captured, and the fake Arya is there. Jon Snow would have to be there for all that. So how do you think now? Right off the bat, he gonna know that this ain't Arya. This chick playing. So how do you think all that will go down if that's the case?
Slightly off topic, but I think Ygritte would have been one of the spearwives that went with Mance if she lived. if she lived. I think she would have done it, because even if she was, it'd be something fun to do for her, I bet. That's just secret.
I think
right
she's leaving
there.
that. I don't know if she's leaving that D. I don't know if she's leaving that D.
Oh, we're assuming they're still boinking?
Yeah, we said that's the reason why he left, so he could be with her. That's what we said.
Oh, so they could,
And now Jon Snow.
I think she'd still go. I think she'd still go as like an act of love, because obviously he can't go. They're going on this covert mission under the framework of like people don't know who they are. I think she'd still go.
I don't know if she would. I don't know if he would allow her, because if he was saying I'm going to stay at the wall, blah blah, but the fact that he's going off and she's going to be in a battle anyway, I don't know if she leaves his side. I think she sticks to him like glue. What do you think on that, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, I think in this scenario, it makes more sense that if Jon chooses her over the Night's Watch in that situation, I think whether he officially, in the sense of a Westerosian way, tries to marry her, I think they are going to be connected at that point in this scenario, at least in my mind, and through the rest of the story be together in some way, shape, or form. Maybe that wouldn't really be how it manifested, but in my mind, in my head canon of all of this, they're together. They're together, ruling the world as lovers. In a sense, in his partner,
Bridges is right. Bridge is 100% right that Stannis leaves Castle Black before the Able plot, because that's a plot between after he leaves, and then so Jon wouldn't be there for the Able plot, Ygritte wouldn't be there for the Able plot, so they would have all left.
If I may make a point,
Of
one
course.
of the reasons, first of all, I still think that Melisandre would have stayed with Stannis, and Melisandre would have found a way to keep Mance. I think they still would have made a show out of burning Mance, whoever became Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. But I think that it would have been a lot riskier, because they're not just at the wall while Stannis is off in Timbuktu. However, I think Melisandre would have found a way to keep Mance at that camp and then send him off, or just, bedazzle Stannis with her very old vagina into not caring if Mance still lives or not. I think Mance knows, or Stannis knows, that Mance is still alive.
That can't be no wop in that vagina.
I think eventually, I think
can't be.
Maybe she glamours him into thinking it's wop. I don't know.
You can't glamour wop. There's no glamoring wop. You cannot glamour WAP. You cannot glamour that. You know what I mean? There's no glamour in that. And
the mind is very strong. The mind can imagine many different things.
Okay, maybe she has fantastic boobies and he titty fucks her or something. I don't know.
Listen, yeah, exactly. Maybe in reality she's going like this.
That could work, but you can't not glamour no WAP.
That's how you birth a shadow baby. You go
that's
like
a glamour you cannot have. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm saying I think regardless, Mance would have been sent off. I think so, because I think Melisandre would have kept Mance no matter what. So I think that mission, no matter when it happened on the timeline, I think the mission remains to go.
Put that on the board for Teflon TV. WAP glamour and WAP. Well, how could we put it? We'll put it on a T-shirt. It would be the WAP is glamour.
Listen, we already have WAP over at Direwolf City. It's called Wex Ass Pussy. You can't take it.
No, we're not taking that. We're saying glamored WAP. And we'll put an arrow down there.
Our thing. Okay, fine. You guys can have WAP, but we can have WAP.
Yeah, exactly. It's a.
And let's say we had altogether 3 members of the Direwolf City podcast in the building. We got I Eat Zebras. Like, oh, who was that cutie? Thank you, girl. It's just me in the Yankee hat. It's Tony. Maybe you couldn't recognize me because of the blue, the Yankee blue or something.
I don't mean to brag, but I think she's talking about me, Tony.
Is she?
She's seen my ass. There's no way she's not talking about me.
Oh, well, if I seen it, I'd probably be talking about you. Anyway, let's go on to the fact that Stannis is down. So Jon has left. He is with Stannis. They have to, I would think that well, stop it.
A lot of people in the live chat immediately when we started talking about this topic of this next stage is does Jon kill Theon? If Jon,
we gotta get there. We gotta get there. We're just getting there first.
Just to get that in everyone's mind leading up. Will Jon be able to hold back killing Theon in this situation?
So we're down there. They're down there. First thing, they get snowed in. We know they're snowed in. They're stuck in the Crofters village. Jon's there with Ygritte. She's like, what the fuck am I doing down here?
Her hair can melt all of that.
No, all this, but she's used to the snowfall and everything else, so that's not a problem for her. Stannis has to come up with a plan. Or the Mors Umber comes in there. He has 2 prisoners with him. The prisoners are Theon, and then he has fake Arya. Now, we've seen them questioning fake Arya, like trying to see if it truly was, because they didn't believe it was her. So they tried to question her, you know what I mean? And she passed all the tests, but those questions are all out the window when Jon is there.
Yeah, Jon goes, "Hi, Jane," right? Doesn't Jon know her?
He knows her. He knows her. He knows. Let's take a super chat real quick before we go into this. Fernandez C, thank you very much. He said, cheer. Happy hump day, gang. What's up from Los Angeles? To everyone and our host. Thank you, brother. We truly, truly appreciate that. As always, my brother. Always. All right. We're going to take the cute guest, the cute wife in here first. How do you think Jon would handle that when they brought him in there?
When they brought Theon in there?
Theon in there. So Theon and Jane. So obviously, Jane, he's going to expose that that's not Jane right off the bat. All right. He's going to say that's not
Jane. You're not my sister.
But at the same time, I don't think that, if they're up in arms because it's not Ned's girl. If you have one of Ned Stark's sons there, and I think he'd advocate for no one to lay a hand on her. So I don't think anything dangerous would happen to Jane. He'd be really, really fucking disappointed. But as far as Theon's well-being, I don't know. He'd be I don't think that he needs to get Caesared and then come back into a second life as this like feral creature to want to like absolutely pulverize Theon. So
we got Chef, and he said my girl had WAP. What happened to it?
Is she not your girl anymore? She has. You know what? It doesn't matter because sometimes women's hormones change, and you know it happens.
Plus, with Jon, I mean, as much as he would want to kill Theon, I think he'd want to more kill Theon for the Robb thing. I believe there's a moment where Theon definitely, or Jon thinks to himself, Theon wouldn't actually kill Bran and Rickon. Even if he's a scumbag, even if he'd betray Robb, he wouldn't actually do that. So he'd probably want to punch him a bunch of times and then ask where his brothers are, and then more probably angry for Robb, and I could see him eventually wanting to execute Theon. But I think it would be similar to what we see on the show, where he'd beat the shit out of him, and then like get out an ass kicking, and then be like, "Where are my brothers?"
I would say that the people in the camp want Theon dead because they believe that he killed those boys.
I wonder if Jon, but I could be making this up.
Because Stannis says, like, I can't keep you alive. They would string me up. They want you dead for what you did to Ned's sons. So that would have gotten back to Jon, and he would think that Theon killed those kids. So I don't think Theon.
I believe there's a thought that Jon has at one point in time where he does hear about it, and he thinks Theon wouldn't actually do that, so he questions it. So I wonder if he would. Because I think if he thought that was for real, I agree with you 1,000%, Tony. He would murder him on sight, but he would initially probably try to probe him for if that was the truth, and actually be like, "Did you really kill Theon? Did you really kill Bran and Rickon? Did you really?" And then I think Theon went, "Oh no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I let them go. I burned 2 other boys." And I think whether Jon believes him in that moment is a different question.
Bridge says Jon definitely believes Bran and Rickon are dead. He wonders if a piece of them live.
So he kills Theon. He kills Theon like this then.
I would think he would have to take out. He would push to Stannis. I mean, Stannis' call. It's not no matter what Jon wants to do, it's still Stannis' call. I mean, we got the ravens in the cages screaming tree. They're really going to be screaming tree at this point. You know what I mean? They're really going to want this man.
Jon would. I'm not sure that he would really pull a Rickard Karstark. I do think that as much as he'll still seethe and be really, really angry about it and feel like it's not enough, if Stannis had plans to execute Theon, Jon would say he wanted to swing the sword himself, I bet.
Oh yeah. Jon.
So I think if Stannis said, "No, he's my prisoner, I need him," Jon would respect that in the long run, but Jon would it would bother the shit out of him. So that would take up quite a few point of view chapters. And I also think he would insist on executing him himself.
And you queer Theon's sister calling for his execution by beheading because she doesn't want him burnt. Because she's witnessed someone get burnt already at the sacrifice. She's seen how disgusting and hard it was. She didn't like it. So she was calling. There you go, girl.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the camera.
Would Stannis and Mel allow him to get his head cut off? Would they want to burn him because he has some
Mel's
blood?
Mel's not there.
Oh, Mel's not there. Okay, then he could get his head cut off.
But I think that's what they think, that's what he would, it would be Stannis would say, listen, this is king's blood here. He has king's blood in him. Burn him for the king's blood. And that's why his sister's like, listen, please just do him like he killed Ned Stark's sons. Do it like Ned Stark would do it. Do it by the heart tree. Mm-hmm. That's when the bird starts tree, and flapping and going all crazy.
Oh, Bridge makes a very good point though, because like I said, I think Theon would tell Jon it was the Miller's boys, and then if Sam was with Jon, Sam could say, "I saw Bran."
You think that at that point he would just come right out? It wasn't me. I killed the Miller's boys.
I think he would cry to Jon. I think he would cry, admit it to Jon. I do.
I mean, it's someone who matters to he's still committed some sins, but confess your sins too. I think he just he accepts that people think he's a murderer. Like, he's not in a position to admit that they were the Miller's boys right now, because if he admits he's the Miller's boys, he's with he was with Ramsay up until now. Why would he volunteer that information? But if he's with Stannis, if he's with Jon, he has way more motivation to be like, it wasn't them. Theon has nothing but torment and pain to gain while in Camp Bolton to admit that he killed the Miller's sons. So he goes with the lie, and he lets people believe that he killed Bran and Rickon because it's better than whatever torture. I honestly think Roose himself would torture Theon, and it would be worse than anything Ramsay has lined up for him. I just know it. So
the person who lives in a state of masshole says Jon finding out that Sam has been holding back the info is a scene I'm excited for. I think that will be a good scene. And well written by George. I mean, everything's just about well written by George. I wouldn't say all of his works, but this story, this series has been. And I agree.
The way Sam will try to defend himself.
Well, listen, he told me not to say anything.
A man with black, cold hands told me not to say anything.
Jon, you don't understand. You don't understand, Jon.
A man I've never met in my entire life before he saved me from some people told me to just turn your brother loose north of the wall.
And I was like, he was in the wolf.
Jon, please.
I can imagine that chick on Bridesmaids in the beginning. He was like, bring me the boy. Send him loose north of the wall. And I was like, sure.
You are goddamn right.
Does Jon have enough self-control to listen to what Theon has to say? I think maybe he beats the shit out of him, and Theon admits it, and then it comes down to whether he believes him or not. Tony, you think he executes Theon right on the spot?
I don't think he has the ability to. So I think that it comes down to, will Stannis burn him for the king's blood, or will he allow him to cut him by the heart tree? It seems that Stannis is going to allow it to go down by the heart tree.
If Mel isn't there to whisper in his ear, I think he allows the honor thing. He'll rationalize that the honor thing to do is to let Jon do that by the heart tree.
We got somebody on Facebook. Honestly, let's take their question real quick. Let's take their question just because they're from Facebook, and I appreciate people watching Facebook. As you don't know, we are live on Teflon TV on Facebook if you cannot watch it on YouTube. And only when Direwolf City is on, then we'll go live on Twitter too. That is a special thing we do with them. You go live on Twitter when they're on there. And we have a member on, so we should have been on live on Twitter, but that is a Direwolf City. We do Twitter also, but Facebook, Teflon TV, YouTube, Teflon TV. MD says, if Jon can convince her to be a part of the South, I see her helping him win things faster. She isn't as green as him. I do believe he is talking about Ygritte. Now, how would Ygritte be for? Obviously, she would be counsel for Jon. This would be someone he could trust, he could talk to.
With her vagina.
How do you think that she would be a helpful counsel person? Would she be good at that, or would you think that? Or do you think that?
How does Jon deal with Val when she's like? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Jon will listen to her.
I think off the top of my head, I might decide later on down the road when it's not relevant and be like, well, she might be good. I'm going to say no, simply because she's not exactly privy to how things work in the South. Like she just, I think she might try to temper his more angry impulses if it means enough to her to temper it. But I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, no. And it's not because she's a horrible person. It's because she's just unknowing.
Yeah, I think in situations that it might be beneficial to him, sort of more in the way where he's too honor bound, and when he can't look past his honor, maybe she might have an alternative perspective to offer him to kind of look at things in a more like way of someone that's lived more, by the seat of their pants in situations like that, or with stuff with the White Walkers later on when we get there, because she might have had more interactions with the others in stuff like that beyond the wall. So when we get there eventually, maybe at that point she could be very beneficial to him. But I think in the point of him in this scenario that we're putting out right here, of him coming down to eventually take Winterfell and deal with some interpoliticky North shit, he has to keep the wildling bride under wraps to a lot of those northern houses. Yes.
Honestly, I think if she's good counsel to him, it would be in this like epiphany sort of way, almost equivalent to like out of the mouths of babes. Like just more like she sparked him to think of, like, I can't remember what Disney movie it is where the villain is like scoffing like, what an idea, what an idea. Like,
sounds like a Jafar
like, it would
thing.
be very,
it
it would be very, very like not purposeful.
It would be weird to me. Yeah, because all right, so I think I got it wrong, but I think it was who was it? It was Sam's girl who seen the windmill and was like, "Oh my god, what is that?" Right?
No, it was Ygritte.
It was Ygritte. All right, so that's what.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, if this chick is impressed by windmills, then I don't think that she could hold.
She might be Fifth Element, though. She might be able to adapt quick, and then once she gets used to the world, we get a little bit of that, Thor one, him out of fish out of water, a couple of moments, but then once she sort of learns the name of the game, she does have a different kind of mind, a quicker thinking mind, a more militaristic mind in some ways. I know Jon was trained, but she does have some stuff to offer. But I agree with you, Tony. A lot of it's going to be like an 80s comedy, or like the Star Trek when they're in the 80s. Double dumbass on you. People them
laughing. Oh my god, it's a window. What is that right there? Oh my god, that's a fire, girl. It's fire. Oh, it's fire. No, I'm just waiting. Thank you, Vince Harper, for the super chat. Says thank you for the content, Tone, Philly, and Elisa. Salute to you.
Vince.
You hold the thug mug up for you and your honor, my brother.
Woo.
Thank you, Tone.
Vince, thank you for that shot.
We got a comment from Direwolf City, Masshole that lives there. She's not a masshole, but she lives there.
Don't talk about my wife like that.
Listen,
she lives in Rhode Island, first of all.
And she knows I got nothing but love for her. Yeah, she knows that. I got to get her. I got to get her. She put that.
I love one mixed queen.
She says. Ygritte sees Winterfell, she's going to pass out, and then Bridgeforth says she sees Winterfell and whop. Yeah. Listen, this is where she's
Winterfell ass pussy.
This is where she's gonna be living, because you gotta understand, Jon is now legitimized as the heir to Winterfell. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean. So it would be, she's like, oh my god. I'm gonna live in this castle. I mean, she gets to the Crosters village. She just sees a tower. She may think this is amazing. Let alone seeing Winterfell.
Her like picking wedgies out of whatever like undergarment she has and under her dress. I'm trying to imagine this, and it's a delight.
We got oh, Face Trip Maya says from Facebook, what's up?
Oh,
is that a back in the day?
What's up? That's how I heard it too in my mind.
That's what it is. Right? That's what I thought.
Do you remember those commercials back when we actually had landlines where people were talking on the landlines? They're like, "What's up?"
It's 70 degrees in San Diego, California.
Always 70 degrees.
And nobody asked you that, girl.
Always beautiful in San Diego.
And she said, "It's big."
really nice in Minnesota all month long, and I'm very freaking grateful because usually this time of year, knock on wood, but we usually get a blizzard by now. So
I got a donation from Marvin D. St. Perez that sent me $5 on Cash App. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Marvin from House Balerion. I think he means Valerian or Balerion because they black, baby. That's right, House Balerion, baby. Thank you for that super chat, brother. I truly appreciate that. Very generous of everyone to keep sending these. All right, so let's get through this scenario right now. Does Theon live or die in this situation? Is he? I mean, you can go to the books. You know, do you think he's going to be? What's it going to be?
I think Theon is like a cockroach, and no matter what, he survives somehow. I think Jon beats the crap out of him, and he admits it, and Jon waits to see, and then Sam confirms it, and then Theon is a prisoner. Similar.
So my big pet theory is that Theon lives through whatever the hell is going on now, and he probably dies. He either dies in Winterfell or he ends up being buried in Winterfell. Big pet theory of mine. However, I think he's making it out of Stannis' camp alive one way or another, and there's nothing about Jon being in the mix that changes my mind on it.
All right, the only way I see him making it through is if they attack. The attack comes sooner than they expected, and they don't have time to kill him. That would be the only way I could see him surviving, because if they got time, they're going to kill him. It would be if the attack comes from the phrase and the phrase Manderly's obviously on their side, but the phrase Boltons and Manderly's get there before Stannis before he gets the chance to execute him. I don't see us, even though his daughter is so that sends Justin Massey straight to Bravos, right? Because he doesn't have to stop there and do the drop, because he's only stopping there at the wall to drop these things off.
Is Gilly and the baby with Sam too, or they go off with eight?
Oh, good point.
And with Mance and the baby, like we forgot about all of that, it just popped in my head. So if Sam's there, Gilly and the baby probably go down with him, right? In this situation,
I don't know if Sam's
and Aemon too.
All right, so I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Or we have to get it. No, don't just say you don't know. You created a whole fucking series about what ifs.
I know.
You created a whole
I'm sorry to add.
We're gonna figure it out right now.
Everybody, this is George Martin trying to write Winds of Winter. Stop. Done. We have to start over. Shit. I mean, we're not going to start over, but this is exactly. We forgot something. I forgot something to read. Shit. Got to go back.
Honestly, right. I think one way or another, whether Jon is in the mix or we're sticking to like Song of Ice and Fire the way it's written, I think that during the actual mayhem of the battle, while people are occupied and busy, Asha is going to try to escape with Theon somehow, somewhere. Might even make their way to Torrhen Square, or try to somehow in that big old storm where Dagmar is.
That's the whole thing. It's a big storm. She does, the thing we could say about her is that she has free roam to walk wherever she wants to in the camp. She's not locked up. Theon's locked up. Like he's handcuffed up. It's not like he's roaming free. She does, but Stannis has got him hung on the wall. He's the prisoner. She's a prisoner, but more like a ward type prisoner. You know what I mean? So
in the same way Theon was a ward for all those years.
Yeah, that's the way he's treating her. Like she's no threat. She can just walk around. She can do whatever she got. Where's she gonna go? What if they ain't gonna be able to catch her in the snow on foot? She'll die out there. She's that'll just be it. So it's the deal with the Sam situation is, I mean,
because Sam can't stay at the wall if Jon leaves. Thorne will kill him, or anybody whoever's left there will kill Sam. So Sam has to leave with Jon, and Gilly will go too, and the baby will go too. Mance's baby will probably go too, and Aemon,
this whole party,
and Aemon will probably go and die in the snowstorm.
Oh my god, this is too much. No, Aemon's got to.
Why are you like this? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why?
I'm evil. But but Aemon, you got. I know that's a big party and it's a lot, but we do have to deal with all that stuff, I guess, in some extent.
There's no Sam going off.
I don't think Aemon would. I mean, Stannis might say something like, "Hey, he's going back to the Citadel," but I can't really. I don't think Jon would want Aemond to come with him for the same reason that Aemond sent, or same reason Jon sent Aemond away. Love you too, Reginald Taylor. For the same reason that Jon sent Aemond away. Aemond. Oh, Aemond. God damn it. Aemond away to the Citadel because he didn't want Melisandre getting a hold of his king's blood. I highly doubt Jon is going to push for Aemond to come with him.
So he probably still sends him to the Citadel.
I think he'll ask Stannis to send Aemond to the... Oh, he might not get his way with that, though. Because Stannis might ask why. Well, I don't know. Yeah, let's dissect this, fellas.
All right.
Let's dissect it.
What the reason why Sam wants to go to the wall to there to investigate more about the White Walkers, right? And figure out things that's going, get his mace's chain and all that. I don't think that Stannis would say don't become educated. I think Stannis is pro college, pro education.
He'll be like, fine, whatever. Go catch a chicken.
All right. He'll be like, yeah, go out there, do your thing. I think we would have to really rework it and say that he has to go, because I can't see him being there with the baby, with Gilly, and everything else and all that situation. So, now, the baby swap happens.
Full House.
But the baby swap happens after Stannis leaves, or no, the baby swap happens with after Stannis leaves. No, because he's scared that Melisandre's going to burn the baby, so that's why they do the baby swap. So
I think the baby swap is after Stannis leaves.
Yeah, so the baby swap in this situation, would the baby swap still happen without Jon pushing the baby swap? Would he just leave with Monster and then Val just take Mance's baby?
Yeah, or he would let Sam go to Old Town with Aemon, and Sam would still leave, and everything in that would generally be similar. And the only difference with our scenario is Sam doesn't come south with Jon; he goes to Old Town. I think either way, Sam will probably go to Old Town to research White Walker stuff for Jon at this. I think that's where our mistake, or we're the wrong direction here, is I think we said Sam comes down with him. I think Sam goes with Aemon and the baby to Old Town.
So we got Bridgeforce said Aemon and Sam are sent by the Lord Commander before Stannis leaves. Happens right after the AF
Feast of Crows and the Dance of
Dragons. So all right, so I think we still get that same scenario. I think the best way to say, to keep the ball rolling.
And we fast forward back to where we were, and now when Jon faces off with Theon, Sam isn't there to corroborate that he saw Bran.
Yeah.
So then Theon dies.
Well, I see Goody Proctor with the devil.
I just want to kill people, Alicia. I'm the killing George's.
No. I was thinking the Crucible. I saw Goody Proctor with the devil. When you said Sam saw, it doesn't. It's been a long day. It doesn't matter. Just keep going.
All right. So after this situation, is Theon alive or is he dead? We got that's going to be a factor moving forward.
Alive.
You?
Alive.
Phil?
If Sam's not there to guarantee. Dead.
All right. The chat, does Theon live in this situation?
Yeah, let's let the chat decide this one.
Die with the chat and say, I would say, right off the bat, Scott's a dead.
Dead.
And everything. Let's see.
Melisandre would try to burn Theon?
Why so curious? I never catch you guys live. Happy I did today. Always love the content. We love you. Thank you so much for being here and rocking with us. We truly appreciate it. 100%. We do appreciate it. I would say that, in the book, it looks like in the show that he lives, but to me, it seems like somehow he's going to pull it out. It does seem, I don't know how, but it does seem like somehow this bastard pulls it. I want him dead. I truly want him to die. He deserves to die, and I think he will die in the end. I don't think it's going to be with his hair bouncing in the wind like he's got Pert Plus commercial going on here, or he's got some Pantene
I love you, Bran.
Propene in there and charging the Night King with a spear, a weapon he's never used. I don't think he's going to die like that. But I I think we're gonna have to somehow say that he does survive this
Come
situation.
on, Tony. The Greyjoys are famed for their prowess with spears.
Yeah, no, it's so good at. So we'll say that Theon somehow lives. I don't know how, but we'll say he lived. We'll go on that. But Zebra says Theon is definitely werewood food. It seems like he should be, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I voted dead, but as I said before,
it seems like he should be.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I know this is a what if series, but I just want to throw this out there. If Theon was going to die by execution by Stannis, that is not a sample chapter that George would have included. Way ahead of the game. If that was what was ultimately going to happen to Theon this soon, that's not a sample chapter he would give us.
Yeah,
so
Theon's
I think he's definitely pulling out alive.
Theon's endgame of the story. He's in the final book. He's in the final moments of our story, I think, in some way.
Did he have to give us that chapter?
I do.
I mean, Theon's not living. There's no way he's.
I think he dies. Some strange part of me has always felt like Theon somehow survives all of this.
No. He can't make it. There's too much blood on his hands for him to die. He killed his
Which
sons.
is why
right?
he needs to.
He killed his own kids. Killed his own kids. He burnt his own. He killed his own kids and burnt their bodies. Right? You don't live from that. And
it's more theorized that they're his sons. I mean,
there's no confirmation that they're his sons, but it's pretty good that they're. I believe they're his kids. Not that he knew that they were his kids or whatever, but I believe they were his kids. And no kinslayer sinner. No one who kills their kin survives this book series. That's not the way it goes. He kills everyone who does that. And I think that's why he's out of here. All right, so let's just say that.
So I have a quick question about that, just to piggyback on that. So do you think Tyrion dies at the end of the series as well? I know this is a little aside, but do you think that will be the same with Tyrion?
Man, fuck Tyrion.
This is the thing about Tyrion, and I'm going to say.
We'll do a quick aside here.
Real quick. He has wife plot armor on, right? The wife likes Tyrion, right? And George's favorite character is Tyrion. So for that reason, that is George's favorite character, he made, let him dodge the bullet in the end for that. Does he deserve to die? 100%.
I can't wait to do one of these what ifs with Tyrion dies.
Next week is with Tywin. And I can guarantee you off the bat right now that
we're killing Tyrion.
Wait, I thought next week was Jaime's hand. Like if he hadn't lost his hand.
Yes, it's supposed to be Jaime Love, but the whole thing is yes. All right, so we may have to put
that aside.
We'll figure that out.
Bridge is supposed to be on next week when we do that one. So all right, we'll figure it out.
I'll just happen to come next week too. I'm inviting myself. I just love Bridge so much.
There you go. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. T, would you give Ygritte the business if she wasn't Bush League down there? I'm not into Bush League. You know what I mean? Don don't do that. You know what I mean?
Can I throw out another hypothetical? If you were living in the same time period as her, that means you would either be adjusted to her bush down there, or
and
she
smell.
might do. Well, I don't know. She might do something about her.
I don't mean smell down there. I mean smell.
Oh.
Like people of that age smelt really bad. I don't mean down there. It's
pheromones,
like you get used to it, I guess.
I guess you just wouldn't know the difference. Everyone would just stink like a bear. But I would just say that the Don that you're looking at right now in this camera, you know what I mean? I am just saying that I just don't I don't do the Bush League. I'm not into that. So for that reason I'd say no. But if it was touched up, I'd definitely do it.
The feminists are gonna find you.
I'm just saying, this is me. Hippie chicks, whatever. I'm not from the 70s. I'm from a different generation. All right, that's what. All right, so let's just say, to keep things moving along, we get the attack. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to go down. But I believe that what happens is that the phrase they charge first, they're in the first, they fall inside the ice pond. They go into that. After they fall into the ice pond, then we get the Manderleys coming from behind, killing up the rest of the Bolton soldiers. After they kill the Bolton soldiers, then they go back to Winterfell. they take the sword of Stannis, they dress up inside the armor of them, acting like that they've won. Roose opens up the gates, they get inside, and they sack Winterfell. That's my scenario of how I think that would go down. If anybody has any other different opinion of how they would sack Winterfell when it's all of a sudden, please let me know.
I vote for that. I like the Trojan horse kind of vibe there.
Okay, I have a question. Does it mention anything about any kind of commanders that Wyman Manderly might have with his, 300 men that he brought with him?
Any commanders?
Because he's kind of laid up in Winterfell with some cut chins.
Yeah, he's got like 4 of his 7 chins are cut through. But he's going to make it.
Okay, so who's there to give the command that they're supposed to turn on the Bolton army?
I think that they know. I think that they would have to know that, because if they, I think that's why they're going there.
That's
to do
true, because he's not exactly acclimated right now. Not acclimated. He's not exactly in a mood to be slick, because by the time he gets to Winterfell, he has 0 fucks to give. He's all but like painting a neon sign over his head, being like, "Fuck you, Boltons."
I mean, listen, the dude is eating. He's eating phrase. He's eating phrase.
Literally.
Zero fucks given at this point.
Like when you're willing to eat somebody, and not only eat somebody, serve that person to their family members. Not only I'm gonna eat your family member, and you gonna taste this too. When you on that Hannibal Lecter type shit, as you said, he got 0 fucks to give at this particular time. You know what I mean? He ain't down with them and whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? I think that's
though, I'm not trying to be like in the defense of cannibalism. I'm saying like the grief of a parent losing a child, though, especially when they're coming up on a winter where they feel like they're gonna die. Like it 0 fucks given. Like it kind of messes with a person's mindset a little bit when you're facing those 2 scenarios. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not saying like I'd do it too. I'm just saying like I don't know that I wouldn't.
And I'm saying, listen, the bottom line is, if people had the chance to turn on Roose, they would. If Lady Dustin could kill Roose and Ramsay, she would. Mm-hmm. She just can't at the particular time, so she's playing the game. But if she had the opportunity to kill them for killing the nephew and everything else, she would be down with that. For what they did to her sister, was a sister who clawed, who their fingernails left the carvings in there and stuff.
Yeah, Lady Hornwood.
Yeah, Lady Hornwood's nails. Yep, for Lady Horn. Sorry about that. She would definitely kill the Boltons if she had a chance. So I think that once they get inside to sack the city, and this is the only way I could see them getting inside, because I don't believe that this letter that was written, we don't get the pink letter down there, because there's no letter to Jon at that time, because I don't think that was sent by Ramsay. I don't think the spearwives and them are captured in there and everything else in it. I don't believe in all that whole situation that went down like that. Do y'all want to comment on the Mance spearwives situation? Do you think they actually were captured? Do you think that really happened? And I think they're hiding in the crypts, and they never got captured.
So if I may take a moment to plug Direwolf City, we very recently, I think 2 weeks ago, we did a stream on the Grand. Oh, hello. I don't like this. Bring it back. Bring your faces back. I don't like this attention. Don't look at me. Anyway, we did. Look, I'm an eccentric person, but that doesn't mean I like to be the center of attention. 2 weeks ago, we did an episode on the Grand Northern Conspiracy. We touched down on the pink letter again. Actually, I think we did an episode with y'all when we talked about the pink letter. Yes, the Stannis episode, the 2-parter.
Way back.
That one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think I dissociated about 45 minutes of that one. Anyway, moving along. I think that Mance wrote the pink letter. Mandy in Direwolf City actually has, like, I had always thought that he wrote it, but she brought up some points that absolutely I never even thought about. And it just absolutely, like, case done, sealed in a Ziploc bag, like lock it, throw away the key. She made some points that Mance absolutely wrote that letter. Now, I do think that they captured some of the spearwives, because they definitely killed some of them, but I do think they're hiding in the crypts at this moment.
Yeah.
So I would say she can come on to Teflon TV with all her points. In theory, I would love to hear them.
They're
Not that I look
amazing.
forward to proving people wrong, but she would be, because the only one who wrote that letter is Stannis Baratheon. It's a fact.
Really?
It's there's no doubt about it. It's not even, to me, it's not even up to a debate. And listen, I've been. This is like one of the first theories I came up with. I've done, and I've been at this with Preston Jacobs for probably like 6-7 years now.
Jesus.
And I haven't been able to get him on to talk about it at all. Yeah, he won't even come on or talk about it with me, because I think he realizes that most likely it's Stannis that wrote that letter. I think it's a pretty much of a done deal that Stannis wrote the letter. There's nothing I can't put that's in that letter that I can't prove that Stannis knew
Bring
to
Mandy.
be in there.
Bring Mandy on.
Bring Mandy. We'd love to have Mandy on. Bring her on. We would love to have her on, and we could talk about that letter. In fact, we were supposed to do a video. It never got done. I would say me, Bridge 4, and Gray Area on the pink letter. It's supposed to be a 3-part series of
I
us.
thought you were gonna say 3-way. I was like, yeah.
Oh well, there's no 3-way. Listen, there's only one penis that's a star in the movie, and it's mine. I ain't rolling with no dude. All right, it's only one star to this movie, and that's mine when I'm in it. All right.
Don't forget about the golden rule, according to Lonely Island.
That's just the way it's going. But we were supposed to do that, and but we can still do that. We could still do a Direwolf City, because Bridge does not agree with me on this situation. Gray does not agree with me.
Think?
Bridge, I think who is Bridge was. I mean, he's in the chat. He'll tell you exactly who he thought. What up to Carla Way? Bridge, who did you say? I'm Stannis. You know what I mean? Fantasy, let him know. Teflon theory, second to none. Y'all, you heard, you know about it, Fran. Let him know, Fran. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Let him know. Let him know what it is, man. Let him know the real deal on this situation and stuff like that.
I will say the first Tony Teflon theory I have ever heard was years ago. My jaw hit the floor, and to this day, I'm like, yep, that Ramsay. Okay. Oh, well, okay, we talked about that, because he could be compulsively lying his ass off. 7 days of battle, really? Really,
to
bro?
this day. Shout out to Deontay Wilder. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Young Nuck, if you buck. We'll play when Jon sees Theon. Stannis would have to stop and appreciate y'all. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. Justin,
that's basically where we are.
I think he'll try to lose control, but he has too much respect for authority, Jon, and it's been shown when he's with Mance, when he's with Stannis, that they would pull him off him. I think he would
definitely get an ass kicking.
He's definitely gonna get them hands laid on him. But I think Stannis will pull him off. No doubt about it and everything else. So yeah, we could have Nym, the Don, Bridge 4, the rest of Direwolf City, and film. We could talk about we could do a pink letter show. I would love to do it. Anytime everybody wants to do it, we can get together. Please let me know and bring all your theories and everything else. And we can get
Jess Britvek says, bring up her comment. Come on, do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
bring up her comment.
Up. It skipped.
I just love Mandy so much. I've just got to gas her up. I've just got it.
There we go.
She just, yes. By y'all, Direwolf City, I'm going to say it was Mandy. We were just more like hype men to hype women to it.
There you go. Y'all, Direwolf City convinced me it was Mance after I thought it was Ramsay for a while. Well, I would say, Jess, I love you, but you were wrong on both occasions. And
by Direwolf City, she means Mandy. It was Mandy. Like, while as a whole, we definitely think it was Mance. Mandy brings all the points.
I would love to hear. Bring her. Tell man, please, to come on, and we could definitely do this. I'm about that life. This is what we do, and that is what it is. You know.
When was the last time you've even said the name Ygritte? Look at us.
Yes. So I guess
Ara. Yes, I'm
get back to this. I guess so. Jon. So one way or another, I think we all I believe that I like Tony's scenario how they take Winterfell, but I do think one way or another, Jon and Stannis do win and take Winterfell in this situation, right?
Stop trying to divorce us, Tony.
I didn't. She said I'm liver. I'm saying she's not.
Don't
She's not.
publicize her.
She's not chopped liver. Not at all.
No, you are not.
She's way much more than that. No doubt. Even though she's from Boston and she likes terrible teens, we still love her. And that's just the bottom
Just
line.
winners, not terrible.
All right, so we're going with the scenario, the Trojan horse theory,
right? Because I think that's the best scenario. But I think one way or another, whether we're just picking one scenario, and I agree that that's the one that makes the most sense. I don't see how else they necessarily do it without some sort of trickery. But I think one way or another, Stannis and Jon are taking this.
Now, since they have taken it, I think since Stannis has taken, I think it's pretty obvious that we have to say it. It's so Jon becomes the Lord of Winterfell.
Does Ygritte accept being the lady though? No, she's not going to be.
She would be the lady of Winterfell. Is that what's going to happen?
She's not being no one's lady.
Listen.
You put a dress on.
Listen.
She's not putting the dress on.
Ygritte. I'm going to go there. Ygritte is a Sagittarius at heart, and that baby girl just needs to fly at the end of the day. I don't think she would appreciate being the lady of a castle. I don't. I think she's too much of a free spirit, and I'd say no. Not that she doesn't love Jon, not that she hates living in a castle or anything like that, but at the end of the day, I don't think even in the North, there's certain structure and pomp and circumstance that she would absolutely chafe under.
I have to go the other way. I think that anyone, listen, let me put this to everybody in the chat too. Rex, Skywalker, all y'all cats up in here. Let me put it. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Let me. And why so curious saying she can't be tamed? Let me tell you about taming.
Wow.
Real quick. All right. When you live in a tent and you move up to a castle, now you ain't have to watch the Jeffersons.
They're moving on.
To know
up.
what moving on up means. If you live in a tent, that's what she's living in. A hut. All right. You can take anyone in a tent in a hut right now. Go get them. Put them up in a goddamn penthouse suite. Put them up in a mansion, and you tell me that she can't be tamed. Oh, she gonna be tamed. She gonna be tamed. She gonna be as tame as it gets right there. I'm trying to tell you. Because if she gotta put on a dress to stay that ass in that time, she gonna be like, oh, what is this? The heat's coming through the walls? You got water going through the walls? Oh my God, it's hot. I could just be naked in here all day. Are you crazy? You people gonna do whatever I tell them to do? I can have lemon cakes or whatever I want to cook for me. I ain't got to be sitting outside in the snow, my feet freezing over a fire, eating shish kebab every goddamn day. Are you goddamn crazy? There ain't no doubt that Shorty is going to take that life. I cannot see her not taking that life, man. That's just the way it go, man. I cannot see that whatsoever. She going to be down with the quickness, man. Just like that. This like Gilly was down with it. She gonna be down with it too.
Okay, but the alternate. Listen, Gilly's a different story. Gilly's a different story. Such a different story. Gilly's never had freedom, so everything's a step up from what she had. She was like, I mean, for wildling
living in a dumpster
standards. Yeah, for wildling standards, she lived in this great walled hut, but she was also beat and abused by her father, who forced her to carry his child and be one of his many wives. Can you imagine your co-wives being your sisters and your aunts and your mom? Anyway, yeah, of course Gilly is like, yay, palaces and windmills and all this other stuff. Ygritte, on the other hand, like, while I think that she's going to be very impressed by all of this stuff, she's going to find it amazing. At the end of the day, I think it goes against the grain of like who she is as a person. She's a free folk at the end of the day. She enjoys her freedom. She might just see the walls of Winterfell as this like gilded cage after a while.
Yeah, but they claim to be free folk, but they still called Mance the king beyond the wall. So they still have and they still
because they fucks with him.
Yeah, but they still understood what a Stark was too. All of them know what a Stark is. Everyone knew the Stark name. So I cannot see this chick going from the bottom and getting to the top and then saying no. She's in love with this dude. She's a big ass castle. She's got servants. She's got people bringing her hot water. She's got food cooked for her. She's got a beautiful place. She's got a bed with furs. She got her Jon in the bed. She's gonna get knocked up. She's gonna have babies. She gonna be about that life. I cannot see her saying, you know what? I have to go back and live in the snow cone.
I'm not saying she's gonna go back and live in the snow cone. I think she's gonna want to see more of Westeros. She's gonna want to see it all. She's not just gonna want to like stay in one spot. I don't know. There's just something about Ygritte
to jump into the live chat
on such a spiritual level. I just don't think she'll stay.
To jump into the live chat and get a couple of other people's reactions. Reginald says she's true. She's true to her tent, bro. Jess says she'd probably be out in the mountains all the time. AK says she's staying with Jon. She ain't leaving that tongue alone. Reflective Rambling says, I disagree, Tony. She's very set to her values, and that's not part of her ethos. She's not Gilly. And then more importantly, I want to get to what Ara said down there a little bit, that it's not beyond that. Would it be suicide, political suicide for Jon to marry a wildling?
Yes.
That would be the problem. But at this point, and I would say that this is what I would see. I would say this to him. The fact that the wildlings took back Winterfell with them, that I think that the northern people will have a more tolerance towards the wildlings. As we've seen in the show, when the wildlings were there after they fought the White Walkers, the Tormund's in there. Ain't no one saying nothing then about them being a wild when they were all hanging out. Everybody was having a good time. Everybody was drinking. I think that at that particular time, after he has freed them from the grip of the Boltons and everything else, that they'd be more considerate. And the fact that you have Stannis there, who's the king, and he's saying Jon Snow is the one that's holding this shit down. He's the one holding this. I don't see. I see her under the weirwood tree getting married to Jon Snow and chilling there and enjoying that life.
Because at this point, if Jon's back in Winterfell, ruling Winterfell, him and Ghost are going inside and outside of each other all the time, right? If we're catching up with Jon here, Jon is full warg at this point, right? Like,
yes,
he never dies. Him and Ghost
Jon, you got this whole thing. Well, he wouldn't even know he's a warg because he never dies. You would never have the death of Jon Snow. You wouldn't have the Azor Ahai factor of Jon Snow. You wouldn't have that at this particular time, man. If he dies and comes back a different situation than you would, but it wouldn't be going down at all. Look at this. We got thank you for Kelly Johnson. Jon knew he and Ygritte weren't the end game. I think in regular books, yes. But in this scenario, I think it would be. Fernandez T is saying, Alicia looking all good and shit. Tony and Phil, 2 accord. You see, that's how you give right there, right? We're not trying to compete, but we can. But at least put us in there a little bit. Just throw us a bone. That's all. A little bone.
You guys are okay too. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Thanks for being here, guys.
I'll take it.
It's something. We're here.
I will say about Ygritte, as much as it sounds like a joke, realistically, I think one big factor that would get her to stay, if there was ever a factor, is that Lord's kiss. Listen. If he treats you right and his head game is strong, man.
Jackie C read my mind to the next point, because we do have to eventually get to the point where Jon does meet Dany eventually.
All right, so we'll
get there. We'll get there.
I think we're just about there because also when dealing with this situation, you have to start dealing with the White Walkers situation going down.
Yes,
and everything else. How the White Walkers, because now you have Ygritte and you have wildlings who have actually seen these White Walkers. Who actually have done this. Who are also so. At this scenario, there's no help coming from King's Landing with Stannis there. That's a done deal. There's no way they would sign anytime. Hey, let's make a peace treaty and fight back the White Walkers. There's going to be no Jaime Lannister running up there. There's going to be none of that situation.
Does Sam find out about Dragonglass enough to have Stannis go down to Dragonstone and harvest that shit and have the North?
I think he has, because he kind of found out about that when he was beyond the wall, didn't he?
Yeah,
because that's how he killed that White Walker. So he knew. Yeah, he knew before he got back.
So you're going off with Stannis, Jon. What you should do is send a party over to Dragonstone and harvest some dragon glass for some weapons. I could see Sam. Excuse me, Jon. What you should do is have Stannis go over. Yeah, I could see him doing something like
that. This is the last time I'm gonna talk about the Ygritte thing because I see a couple more cards. Let me explain something to y'all, people. Let me tell you something.
I'll go to Old Town Jon.
Let me explain something to you. I don't care how many I don't care how many bear skins she rocked. I don't care how many raccoon hats she rocked when she was out. Women, give her some silk drawers, all right? Give her some silk clothing, and when she feels that silk rub up against her body, she gonna be about that life. And that's just the bottom line. And she, no matter what you are, it doesn't matter. When you feel that, you see that gold, them diamonds, you feel all that stuff, you about that life. That's just the way it is, you know. And maybe y'all had slept in silk sheets. Go get yourself a pair. Go get yourself a pair of silk sheets and some satin, and put your ass in there butt naked and rub your back in there. And when you feel that feeling, rub up there, hit me up and say, Tony's that feeling you was right.
Right. Tony, as the one out of the three of us that actually possesses a vagina, if I may speak for women over here, yes, it's really nice to dress up with your lipstick and your high heels and your fancy dress and all that. That is amazing. That is great. Every woman wants to feel beautiful, but never underestimate the power at the end of the day of being in some fucking sweats with a messy ass bun with your glasses on and your little food belly while you're snacking on whatever while you're watching TV. That can never be underestimated. I'm just saying.
I will never underestimate that, and I will never say anything like that.
So with that said, I mean, Ygritte might be in that camp. And no bra. Thank you. Why so curious? Thank you. Like when that bra comes off, it is, oh, man.
That's who I feel. I feel like the exact same way.
Yeah, that's when nothing just goes.
So I'm saying the nice things are nice, but at the same time, like it just feels so good to be in sweats and just look what one might consider frumpy for a day. I'm just saying.
Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. T, why Bridge shook to be on the stream? Bridge is not shook to be on the stream, baby. Shit, not you. Kelly has a Johnson.
You did it again, Tony. You forgot again.
You got me.
Kelly, you need to change your name to like Kelly Dude Johnson or something. Just so Tony can see it. Because his instinct is Kelly, and he thinks you're a girl every time.
Every time I see him, he got me, that motherfucker. Bridge is not shook at all, but he's coming on the Jamie Lannister. What if Jamie Lannister never lost his head?
Yeah, he'll be on eventually on one of these for sure.
Every time I see the name, I have to remind myself, and I did it a little bit too late.
We might even just have Bridge record a part, and we'll just play him like he's here the whole time. But one way or another, you'll hear.
Have a voicemail. We do take voicemails and phone calls.
Bridge could be on the show right now if he just wants to leave a voicemail.
Oh my God, leave a voicemail, please, Bridge.
Yeah, Bridge, leave a voicemail. Give put the number out there.
Give the people what they want, Bridge.
You put the number out there real quick.
I did.
You put it in the chat?
Yeah. It's 781-990-8509 if anyone wants to leave us a voicemail and say hello. Any questions?
A little slower for the people in the back.
781-990-8509.
And if you're watching this later, not tonight live, you can still leave a voicemail there and we'll still take it. So you watch this a week from now, a month from now, leave a voicemail. We'll take it. All right. Let's get that going. All right. So it gets a little bit more difficult now dealing with this whole situation because we have to diverge from all the books and just go on, I guess, the show shit.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can base it on right now.
The battle with the White Walkers, Ygritte's there. Battle of the White Walkers is definitely going to happen. Stannis would have to stay back, I would guess.
Yep.
And fight them there. Does
everyone from the north come and help? Is Jon able to rally the whole north to help at the wall?
With Jon there, then you're definitely going to get Sansa. Well, we have to do Sansa in the Vale. Would she have been able? She would have to come back to Winterfell then, right?
Yeah, if Jon takes over Winterfell, yes, because at that point, Yeah,
He has to come back, right?
he has to at that point.
So Jon is still going to be, no matter what Stark comes back to there, you're still gonna have Jon as the Lord of Winterfell because Stannis deemed that. So
And eventually King of the North. Probably.
and that would just be it. Once he won, so the Battle of Winterfell, the White Walker battle, I think they would have the Vale. They would have everyone except for the King's Landing people, and they wouldn't have Euron or anything else.
They deal with the King's Landing people after the White Walker situation. Even if they ever even had to, because the Lannisters aren't marching north, and because they'll have to, because Stannis will say, if I'm helping you here, you have to march south with me to take King's Landing.
We'll answer this question real quick. Scott of Castley Rock said, "Do the others get to the God's Eye?"
No, I think in this scenario with Jon controlling Winterfell and keeping everyone north, they meet in the wildlings, the free folks help. They're able to stop them at the wall and beyond.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no dragon
battle at the Trident.
But we do got to get to the Dany thing. But I would say this: we'll get to the Dany thing right now. But no, I think my theory with that came up with a long time ago. Y'all can check it out. But is that
we do have a
I think they get to the neck, and then Howland Reed and them break it to stop the White Walkers from going past the neck. And it's called the Broken Neck after that. When it's all said and done, that'll be the new name of the Broken Neck. But he breaks it right there with the hammers of water. And then that's where the White Walkers get defeated over there. But I got videos on that. Y'all could definitely go check that out and stuff like that. Let's deal with the Daenerys situation. Daenerys comes over before the White Walker battles. They need the dragon glass. All right. T, where does your homie Deontay Wilder go from here? I cannot answer a boxing question right now.
We'll talk about that later.
I appreciate that. And that's a sore point. Well, that's a sore point. But hey, if you're out in the business, please go out and buy Deontay Wilder's The Bronze Bombers children's book written by your boy Tony Teflon. Go buy that book right there. It's still available in Barnes and Nobles and
you
Amazon.
Literally had it just right by you.
Huh?
You literally had it.
He knew someone was going to mention it.
Awesome.
Yeah. It used to be on the set right there and everything else, but I thought that was a little thing. So go buy the book that the Don Tony Teflon wrote for Deontay Wilder.
Tony,
right here.
Before we get into the Daenerys of it all, let's listen to our voicemail. We have a voicemail from area code
Let's go
240.
You're so excited.
Yes, hello. This is Ma from House Valerion, firstborn bastard child of Aegon IV. I could see Ygritte looking at the house, the servants, like Tony Teflon said, looking at people bringing her lemon cakes and everything in the silks, and then looking at Jon and saying, you know what? What that mouth do?
I'm with you 100% on that. You know what I mean? I think that's exactly the way you get used to luxury company. If you never experienced room service and you get it for the first time, it's amazing. You know what I mean? It's amazing when someone brings something to you. You know what I mean? It's amazing and everything. So I agree with him 100% on that. And thank you for the call. We definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean? That's just the way it be and everything else. So, all right. So, Teflon T, put the link, preferred seller in the description. Listen, if you want to really truly buy the book, let me know. I will sell you the book at a discounted price. I won't. You don't have to go on there and buy it. Just hit me up. I'll get you a copy of it because obviously I get it from the publisher cheaper, and I'll hook you up. All right, because y'all my people, so you don't have to buy it for that price and everything. All right, so let's go through it. All right, now, so Daenerys shows up. They need the dragon glass and everything else. Jon Snow's not single. He's not single. There's gonna be no boat sex. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be no chickens.
Does Sam find out about Jon's parentage in this scenario? Is Bran have a chance to tell Jon? Is there any factor of Jon's Targaryenness in this scenario, or it's just sort of forgotten about, brushed under the rug because it's not relevant?
No, they have to. That Jon it has to come out who Jon is.
So Jon. Oh God, this is where it gets difficult because who's going to tell Jon? Probably Sam or Bran, obviously.
You have to have Howland Reed is still in the business. I don't know, people forgetting about Howland.
Yeah, that
he will be in the books. He's not. They didn't put him in the show, but Howland is coming in the books.
Yeah.
And they may have given what they gave to Sam Howland's point. You know what I mean? Has to be someone, because even if you hear it, how are you going to know? You think that is this really going to be a wedding certificate just hidden in the citadel that
Gilly's gonna find? Go, oh, what's
that no one's known about? They really have this marriage thing there that no one's ever spoke about, just sitting there all this time. I think that's an easy thing to do for the show, but I think it's got to be Howland. I think Howland there's a reason why he lived. It didn't just make him live and make him the only person that knows about it, just to have that there. They have to show Howland Reed. He has to be a factor in this situation and everything else. There's no way around. Kelly Johnson says, "T, do you think boat sex was a letdown?" I and thank you for the super chat. The actual boat sex scene itself, I
got to see Kit Harington's ass.
There you go. So it wasn't a letdown for her, but for me, I didn't see Danny's ass. So yes, I don't need to see Kit Harington's ass. So it was a big letdown for me. What about you, Phil?
I don't know. I think the way that it worked on the show in that context, the actors didn't necessarily have the best on-screen chemistry, and they didn't build it up good enough for me to really care about them in a romantic sense. So I do feel like the scene itself was a little over-glorified. I wrote a cheesy, ridiculous song about it. I was just going to play a moment of it, but I don't want to strike any copyrights. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't necessarily love the boat sex of it all.
Yeah, so that also when that comes in, we have to talk about Jon being a Targaryen and Rhaegar's child. How does Stannis react to that situation? Will he then want to?
You're my king.
Does he want to kill him? Because and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So it would be a situation like that. All right, but before that, we got to deal with Dany. So Dany's there. Do you think it still goes down the same exact way that she just gives up the dragon glass? Because I think that the parley that she has with Jon Snow, would Stannis send Jon there? Would Stannis just go himself?
He would go himself.
Yeah, he considers Dragonstone his, right?
It is his.
So he's going to come there and be like, Dany landed here. That's my home. I'm going to take it back.
If he lands, it's a different situation. There's no taking my weapons by the Dothraki, and that's not Stannis. You know what I mean? Because Stannis carries himself as a king of Westeros. Him confronting Dany, who's saying she's coming to reclaim it right then. Would he risk himself to go there and be executed if she really wanted to? If he just went there to parley, or would he send Jon as an envoy over there for him? What do you think? What do you think?
It look kind of weak for Stannis to send Jon to his old seat. I think it would. I think Stannis would go himself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Can I answer this super chat?
Yes, you can. Let me read it, and Alicia's going to answer this for you. T, we're going to Alicia, because I'm not going to answer. We'll let you answer it. Is Dany Ygritte the bigger freak in bed? I think it's pretty obvious too. This answer.
I'm gonna say Dany.
It has no choice.
Say Dany.
It has no choice to be Dany. She was taught by chicks from the brothel. And Georgia Ballard Martin said when she had sex with
First of all, Ygritte didn't even know what oral sex was. Okay, let's just rule out Ygritte right here, right now.
Yeah, that's enough to say it.
Danny, like you said, Dany was trained by sex workers. What's on top of it? Like, she does a whole lot of sleeping with Dario, and he's teaching her.
He says that when George R. Martin says when she slept with Dario, she took it in every hole. In the book, it says she took it in every hole she had twice.
That sounds like a freak to me.
Not just once. Once wasn't enough. All right.
You gotta try everything twice to see if you like it.
I'm betting I'm betting she even let him spit in her mouth a couple times. I'm just saying she's
a try it. Yeah, gotta try anything twice to see if I like it.
Yeah. You got QDF official saying Alicia's slowly becoming my favorite YouTuber.
Slowly.
Almost there. All right. So
I think either way Jon goes, probably.
Do you think that Stannis sends Jon, or you think he goes by himself?
He would go. It would look like weakness if he did anything but went for himself because that was his old seat. You look like a dumbass motherfucker if you send somebody else to treat at the castle you used to hold. It doesn't matter if like he had already lost the castle by the time she got there, but honestly, like it would just, he knows this too. And it's not just him being prideful, it's a strategy at this point. He knows good and damn well how weak it makes him look if he sends somebody else to Dragonstone. Come on.
I do think Jon would go as well, knowing that the dragons are there and knowing that he needs the dragons, or the dragons are a good possibility to help out against the White Walkers. He might say, Stannis I got to go and destroy this dragon queen right now before yada, yada, yada. And Jon's like, let me go and with you and try to reason with her and explain to her the threat beyond the wall. And then you guys can figure out your little petty distributes to see who's going to take the throne. You know, you guys are on the same side. Let me go over there and try to talk. And I think this is a situation where Ygritte might help and stick up. No, there's this threat. We all have to think of it and help hammer in Jon's point, just to bring that name up again for consider her name's in the title. But I do think that's one of those situations where she may be like, Jon, speak up. You need to go make sure these dragons go and help, because dragons could help us out. So I think both of them go in some way.
I feel Kelly Johnson said Dina Hara made a song about made that song before Song of Ice and Fire came out, and that was Freak. Cause I freaked until the day to the early morn, yeah, and we could pop. I love that song back in the day. That was my joint back in the day. I need a freak like Adina. You know what I mean? E. Zebra saying, so speaking of Castle, how the stand is going to deal with Fagon taking Storm's End first. I don't think he would deal with that first. I think we have to deal with this first, and then if he survives this situation, then he would have to deal with the Fagon situation and all that. And I don't think he'd be very happy about it. Both his spots are both getting taken.
Where's Brienne right now? I'm just curious. Is Brienne coming with Sansa at some point? Or she's off with her Jaime situation right now with Catelyn and Jaime and all that.
So you need Bridge 4 to keep the timeline right.
So off kilter in relation.
Yeah, it's a different universe right now from what we're necessarily.
Point, yeah.
So at this point, we're saying that's or either Stannis alone, or Jon alone, or Stannis and Jon alone go and meet Daenerys when she lands on Dragonstone.
Yeah, I think that it would have to be Jon. I just don't think that Stannis would put himself in a position to be executed over there. I don't know if he would trust her enough to think that her word I'm not going to do anything to you, would make him go. You know what I mean? That would be the only thing. So I understand what Alicia's saying. It is a B move, and I think Stannis would want to go, but I think the counselors, Davos and them would tell him, send Jon, send me, and everything else, and I'll go out there, and because it's too risky. If you die, the revolution is over. So I don't think that he goes. So I think that Stannis would stay, and you still get the scenario between Davos and Jon heading over to Dragonstone. That's the way I think.
So in this scenario, we can take that and go with it because it's. Yeah, I mean, because I guess if we're doing the vote thing, I'll go with that, because I think one way or another Jon's there. So for the basis of, and Jon's the one that first meets with Daenerys. So I'll go with that one. If we're doing the vote here, I will say that Jon goes, and Jon, and does Ygritte go with him? Yes.
No. She's a lady.
I'm not staying here. I'm going with you, Jon Snow.
There must always be a Stark in Winterfell.
She wants to see a dragon. No, she wants to see a dragon.
I want to see a dragon, Jon.
They're coming back. They're coming back to Winterfell, so she's going to see one. I think it goes back. It goes back to there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. She gets married to Jon. She's that Stark in Winterfell. She's not going to be allowed to go. She's going to have to stay there.
Look, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but the more I think about Daenerys, the more I feel like Ygritte looks like a dusty ass bitch in comparison.
I think that's where we're heading right now.
So are you saying that Jon,
with her crooked teeth and her this? And that.
Leave Ygritte alone. All right, leave her alone.
Listen, as I'm smiling with my crooked teeth, shut up.
Oh no, you don't have not like free folk crooked. That's completely different. There was no dentistry at all.
Listen,
I have
there were
crooked
third
teeth.
graders at the school I teach at that were like, "Why you got vampire teeth?" I'm
I
like,
didn't
"Thank
even
you,
notice.
little one. Thank you."
Ain't no one looking at your teeth that close, girl.
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice it.
I think that's the last
I
thing.
still don't notice. I'm looking now and I don't notice it.
That's the last thing people looking at. Is your teeth.
Let me get real close to the camera.
No,
I'll put you. We'll solo you out.
But
Don't
no.
worry, we'll take it.
But no, first of all, Ygritte, I'm sorry, but Dany rides dragons. Rides a dragon. She owns dragons. She rides a dragon. You know, your first love is great and all, but it's your first love. There's a reason they call it first love. And well, okay, there's not a reason they call it first love. It's very factually your first love. I don't know. I just feel like Ygritte in comparison, it's almost like I'm bored of talking of Ygritte now that we're moving on to Dany. But I definitely think Jon would be like, ooh, hey Ma, how you doing? Let me whisper something in your ear. I don't know.
Yeah, I think when you got to feel that there's some sort of connection, even though it wasn't displayed in the show properly. I think we're supposed to believe that when the two Targaryens get in the same place and they have an instant chemistry, are we to assume that still happens in this scenario when they meet for the first time? And if he's meeting her alone, will he feel a draw to her and her to him? And that's why I'm saying if Ygritte comes, it could be awkward, or will that not even be a factor because he's sworn himself to somebody else at this point?
Maybe I saw someone in the chat suggest that there'll be a throuple.
Yeah, I mean that could be an interesting. You add the dragons in, you got a six-up.
Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you tonight, Phil?
No, do you mean why am I going to positive places? It would be a party. Then you got to bring the dragons into it.
Someone would die.
Not the dragon.
Someone's cervix would be split in half. I'm going. You know what? Never mind.
Definitely not Drogon.
Night stream.
Jackie C says Stannis not respecting Dany and her dragons makes Stannis seem suicidal. I think Stannis would still respect the power of the dragons. I just think he would look at her as something in the way. Or would Melisandre whisper in her ear, "Oh, she's fire. You need to make friends with the Dragon Queen because those dragons are, for our red god, raining fire and brimstone."
Do we get a chance that I'm gonna say this, and you never know how things. Do we get a chance that we have a Stannis Baratheon Daenerys marriage? I mean, she's there to marry. She's got to marry somebody. Is it possibility? Hey, what that looks on the one true king, girl. Don't say that. Jorah wanted it and everything else like that. We're good to, but Zebra has to go. If you're a fan of American Horror Story, Zebra and Gray Area, they do American Horror Story live stream. I assume when it's over. So when American Horror Story ends, please check out Zebra's channel or I should just say. I'm sorry. I always just say Zebra. That's the first thing I say. Or Gray Area. Whichever week it switches from channel to channel, week to week. Go check them out and get your American Horror Story thing on. We'll have her on specifically. She had an episode that she put up. We'll have her on for that, and we'll have her on for many times and stuff like that. Thank you for rocking with us. We appreciate you for rocking with everything.
Tune in because it's good stuff, and they are absolutely killing it. Also, if you love Ara's stuff, subscribe to her channel. Exactly. She is so close to 1,000 subscribers after no time flat. I'm super freaking proud of her. But yeah, go check out her channel, hit the subscribe button, and she's packed full of good stuff. It's worth it. It's not just
no doubt about it. Definitely drop that in there. We got 2 super chats we're going to take. So real quick, and then we'll go back to that. Phil, asking you specifically, did Got show bungle the Jon and Dany romance? How do y'all feel about the Jon Dany romance?
I talked about it a little bit, but yeah, I think it did it just because of a lack of time. That's one of those things that if you had a couple seasons to play that out, you really play the fact that they both get the thunderbolt, as said in Godfather, when you see somebody because you have some sort of connection. They had that Targaryen, meeting moments kind of situation, and you could have played that out over the course of 2 full seasons worth of, or at least a whole season of more episodes. I think part of what didn't work about it was yada yada. There was too much yada yada going with the romance, and I think the show bungled something that maybe the books could do in a decent way, in the sense of Jon and Dany having some sort of connection they can't describe. So in this sense, again, as Jon is meeting Dany, is that there? Does he have trouble refusing her? Do they have a connection that can't be? Has he married Ygritte at this point? Probably not, because it works against him for the North, and he hasn't had time. She's just, staying at home, staying at Winterfell right now. But I don't know. I wonder if in this scenario, Jon and Dany still end up together in some way.
Here's my question. Would Ygritte even, she'd want to live at the castle probably, but would Ygritte even want to get married?
I don't think so.
Did I send that privately in the private chat? Or did everyone see it?
No, you sent it to me.
All right, I sent it to you?
No, I mean, I saw it, but I don't know if everyone else did.
All right.
I don't think everybody else sees, I think everyone that's involved in the actual studio sees it, but I don't.
Yeah, just the three of us.
Deal with, and does the law of religion allow more than one wife? I don't think we get any discussion of that. Can that happen? I don't think it's anything right there. We're not going to keep this up because it's blocking Alicia's face, but AK saying, is Selyse dead and how? All right, so Selyse could die many ways. that could be arranged. If she, she may not make it, and her daughter may not make it from the wall to Winterfell when the White Walkers attack. It's an easy way to say that they didn't make it back, because obviously they're going to bust through the wall and come down, so they could die on that transition. It's easy to say how she doesn't make it. Hypothetically, if they don't make it, it's hard for me to see how they would actually survive. We can go back to that. If the White Walkers are going to break through the wall and we have them up there, even if Stannis takes Winterfell with all that snow, it would take them a month to get down all the way to Winterfell for that protection. So it seems more likely to me that most likely they're going to die at the wall. She dies in the show, Selyse. She hangs herself or something like that. I don't buy into the Stannis sacrificing Shireen on the fire thing. I don't buy into that, but I could see them not making it to Winterfell and Stannis being single at this point.
Why don't you think he's going to burn Shireen?
I just don't think he's in a position to do it, because she's at the wall and he's going to be all the way at the Crofters village, and then he's going to be in Winterfell. So I just don't think that he's around her to do it. Melisandre could do it on her own, but I don't see how Stannis himself would do it.
So when Dan and Dave threw George R. R. Martin under the bus after that episode where they burned Shireen, did they say specifically that George told them Stannis was going to burn Shireen, or
they
that
said
Shireen
that
would burn?
They said she would burn.
This changes
that she
everything.
Would burn.
Area code 240 says Shireen plus Rickon. That maybe Jon and Stannis try to arrange a little marriage between Shireen in this scenario, Shireen and Rickon.
I suppose he would be second in line if he's crown king, no, he's not crown king. If he's aligned with Stannis.
If he's dealing with the Stannis situation, it's already given to Jon, so it would be go right down the line, because Jon's legitimized. He's not Jon Snow; he's Jon Stark. So the fact that he's
New York superstar Jon Stark.
Yeah, it's just Jon. He's Jon Stark, so he's not a Snow anymore. So he's the one. He's older, so this goes right down the line to Jon.
We do have another voicemail also from area code 240. Let's play.
All right.
Marv with House Valerian. Tony, that makes a great point. If Stannis marries Dany, Jon can stay with Ygritte, and if that happens, then they can have the whole North north of the wall, as well as north of the neck.
All right, thank you very much for agreeing with me, and you're right to agree with me because I'm right.
Corey's like, could you play that voicemail again in slow motion?
You know, if
right.
we're gonna wrap soon because we only do these for like 2 hours and we're off. We don't try to go over 2 hours and with 10 minutes.
So okay, so Jon, to fast forward this a little bit, Jon and Dany meet in this situation. What happens? Did they able to figure out an alliance because of the Targaryen blood situation, or is there a problem? They fuck. I tend to think too as well, like especially because I don't think he's locked down, or him and Ygritte aren't married yet, and he's comes in the situation alone. Because I'm going to agree with Tony that he goes there alone without Ygritte, and him and Dany fuck. Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yeah,
and then,
I would say that he'd be married to Ygritte by now, and that it would be a betrothal between Stannis and Dany. I think that's what would have to happen.
Either way, they all go and wipe out the White Walkers and win it somewhere.
Yeah, but I would think it would have to go that way. If you had Stannis and Dany hook up, that ends everything. That ends the complication. She gets the throne. He gets the throne. The Baratheons are Targaryens. No matter what, they're Targaryens. They're Targaryen bastards, but they're Targaryens. The bloodline works. I think it would go down that way. Go right ahead, Elise.
I just don't think that Ygritte would marry him.
Yeah, and 240 also said, do the free folk even believe in marriage? It's a question. I don't know. I don't know if they do.
I think
he's not free folk anymore.
She'll always be free folk, Tony.
I mean, Jon himself, they talk about how he's half wildling at this point.
That's like saying she's not a virgin anymore. She'll always be a virgin.
It's different though. It's like raised in the womb.
One is a lack of sex. The other is like how you're born and raised.
Yeah, like you're institutionalized to living in that kind of situation. Like she's used to it. She'll always miss it in some ways. Maybe even though if she could grow and go beyond it, but. In some like Howie Mandel and Walk Like a Man, where he was raised by wolves, he always had the wolf somewhere inside him, even though he did become domesticated eventually.
I think she'll want to be with Jon. I just don't know if she'd marry him necessarily. With that said, that frees him up to, it would be cheating even if he were with her, but that frees him up to be with Dany. But at the same time, I think Ygritte is one of those people that would raise hell about it, as she should.
I think that she'd marry him in front of that heart tree. And I think that, even if Shireen and Stannis' wife and them make it all the way down to Winterfell, a lot of people can die in this White Walker battle. And a lot of people would die. There's no telling that Ygritte makes it off the White Walker battle. She could die in that. There's a lot of people who could die in that battle. So it's easy to see how Stannis would be single when when something like that happens, or how it would go down and everything else, and all that. Kelly Johnson, let me take this right here. Bridge, will you please check your voice, your
Instagram message?
Instagram from Phil sent you something that I need you to check out for me. I appreciate it, brother. Could Ygritte outbar Dany in a rap battle? I could beat them both and Gray Area, and in all honesty, I was supposed to do a rap battle with Gray Area, and she backed out. She got nervous, and everything else. But we'll see. We'll see if we get that. We'll see if we get that going on and everything else like that. But there's supposed at the next Con of Thrones, it's supposed to be a Song of Ice and Fire rap battle.
I'm in on that.
I'm supposed to be hosting it and everything else. So that's going to be
one
of
the
main stage and everything else like that. So
I'm
just
so in that
the participants for it to get that done and everything.
No one will ever expect the hippie.
So let's just in all honesty, it's Tony with a bar. I'm from Queens, New York, y'all. I've put many.
That's why you're hosting. You're not in the battle.
Yeah, it's not fair if I be in. It's not.
Yeah, you're a professional. Like
I am. So Scott says Stannis got to die right. I don't know if that would if Stannis has to die if he marries Dany. I don't know if he has to die in this situation.
Does she agree to marry him though? I'm not sure.
I think politically it makes sense for them to get married.
But they'll never be on this.
I don't know. She was willing to marry his daughter.
She was.
Willing to marry his daughter.
Good point, Alicia.
So
Yeah, I think politically it makes the most sense for them to
You
get
know what
married.
though? I don't know if she would marry Stannis because she would probably very much look at it as this is my like she's not going to want to compete with Stannis over the throne. I think she knows there would be too much friction there. She came to take her family's throne back, and I think with his art it was different because she came as a foreigner into Marine. So one of the reasons that a marriage to Hizdar was so important was like her way of liberating Marine and keeping that liberation was to marry a Marinese person. Whereas she feels like she's going back to her homeland, something that's hers already. She's retaking something, and Stannis is just in the way of that.
I'm not saying that she. I think that the fact that she was willing to marry Jon Snow. Now we never got. They never got into the situation with whose name would somebody take and everything else like that. You know, they didn't get into that. But I think that Stannis might be willing to say, "Hey, call me Stannis Targaryen and put me on the throne with you." I think he might give his name up for her. I just
Well,
think
he's
that.
already 1/4 Targaryen. He might not have to because I think from the moment that the Targaryens came over from Dragon, I mean, they were in Westeros, but from the moment of the conquest, the Baratheons and the Targaryens for a long time were kind of closely associated with one another. Was it ever confirmed that Orys Baratheon was Aegon's bastard brother?
Well, they never said it for fact, but the rumor is that they got the same father,
Mm-hmm. Well,
right?
there's
So
always
that
been that close association throughout history, right down to like the queen that never was. She was half Baratheon. That's why her
yeah.
hair
So
was
the
black.
Baratheons are
Yeah.
basically half Targaryens right off the bat. When you look at it, if you're dealing with the bloodline that goes through Westeros, dealing with with Aegon's father and all that. So that's what I have to say. So I don't know if she would change her name to Baratheon or anything like that. I don't think she'd do that. But I would think that Stannis may change his name over there. All right, there's so much that we could actually talk about. It's too much to go
Okay,
on.
but as a
Let's try
royal
to wrap it.
consort, do you have to change your name? Because Cersei never changes her name to Cersei Baratheon, and I think it's because she's queen consort. So I think if you're consort to the monarch or vice versa, you don't have to change your name. Kind of like Alicent Hightower never became a Targaryen.
Is she not mentioned as Cersei? And then like when they show the timelines and stuff like the trees, it says Cersei Baratheon Lannister, right? Like
Does it?
it has a slash there that she's
I from what I understand, I'm stuttering now. From what I understand, because if you think about the women that weren't Targaryens that married into the throne, they always kept their last name, and I think it's because the consort always keeps their last name.
No name in the live chat says queens don't change their last name. And just because Tony's point, like he said, we like to try to keep these for 2 hours. So we will answer questions later. We also like to do occasional weeks where it's just Tony and I going over random questions people bring up, including taking what we say in other what ifs and expanding them further. So for the basis of tonight, to keep this at our good 2 hour point, let's just say this story ends with Stannis and Dany married, Jon and Ygritte married. They'd kill the White Walkers and eventually march down and give Stannis and Dany rule from King's Landing.
Now that's obviously it won't go that way because that's obviously too
no, but we're trying
storybook.
to. That's basically
We're trying to wrap it, and we can talk about how we actually think it truly would go down. In another stream, we could do a part 2 stream to this because we got so much going
or in
on.
one of our Q&A ones that we do.
Or Q&A, we could just finish this up. All right, but obviously we usually give you time to ask questions, but since it's 2 hours, we're gonna have to bounce. So let's just say thank everybody for coming here. Bridge, I hope you got that message.
He said he got it.
All right, perfect. And Alicia, let the people know where they can find you.
All right, you can find me on Twitter at TotsNotAlice. You can find me on Instagram at Hangry Like the Wolf. Wolf does have an E at the end of it. You can also find me on Direwolf City Sunday nights. Shit, when do we stream?
8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you so much.
I believe,
8:30 p.m. Eastern. Eastern Standard Time. It's been a day. That is on Gray Area's YouTube channel. And also, this is a very good time to plug. We are dropping our second podcast. It's going to be called Preposterous AF, and we will be covering unsolved mysteries, unexplained mysteries, a little bit of true crime in the mix, but there's something for everyone there, and you don't really have to like read a particular set of books to follow along with it. It's just basically reviewing these mysteries with a little bit of dark humor.
Nice.
We do give trigger warnings because there are a few of those. That will be dropping next week. We're very excited about it.
Nice. Thank you for joining us. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me again.
No doubt. And check out our sister podcast, Iowa City, and all that. Definitely do that. All right. Definitely do that. All right. Phil, let the people know where they can find you.
Come on over to Phil the Issues Guy. Listen to me babbling for multiple hours about silly shows. Right now, I'm basically just talking about Only Murders in the Building, going into its final episode next week. We got to find out who killed Tim Kono. Good show, especially if you like Steve Martin and Martin Short. And Selena Gomez is incredibly surprising, having never been exposed to her before in any way, shape, or form, other than hearing her music in the background. She really fits into the mix with the three of them. A lot of really good guest stars. Nathan Lane kills it on the series too. Very fun, lighthearted stuff, but still has that bitingness to it with Steve Martin. So check out a couple of episodes of Only Murders in the Building, catch up for the final week, and join me on Tuesdays for a recap of that. And also I'm on Sundays at about 10:30 p.m. Eastern time with my buddy Joe, where we argue about useless things like what time streaming things should drop. And we're going to be talking a little bit about Squid Game this week that we both caught up on to randomly babble about that and some other random topics. So check me out on Phil the Issues Guy.
Definitely do that. You know who I am, Don Tony Teflon. I have that Evil season finale video dropping tomorrow. It's already done. I'll just put it up tomorrow. And we have some more House of the Dragon trailer stuff that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow. So definitely check that out and everything else. Thank everyone for coming out here as always. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this. Spread this across the realm. And listen, you got a different scenario, put it in the comment section.
Tell us how we're wrong.
Let us know. We ain't afraid of you. I'm afraid of you. I'm not Bernie Mac shit. All right.
I ain't scared.
That's it. And subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.